We are what we believe we are. Courage is not simply one of the virtues, but the form of every virtue at the testing point. You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me. Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching. Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less. Miracles are a retelling in small letters of the very same story which is written across the whole world in letters too large for some of us to see. Aim at heaven and you will get earth thrown in. Aim at earth and you get neither. Love is not affectionate feeling, but a steady wish for the loved person's ultimate good as far as it can be obtained. A proud man is always looking down on things and people, and of course, as long as you're looking down, you can't see something that's above you. Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pains. It is His megaphone to rouse a deaf world. God cannot give us a happiness and peace apart from Himself because it is not there. Education without values, as useful as it is, seems rather to make man a more clever devil. Don't let your happiness depend on something you may lose. There are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. To love it all is to be vulnerable. No one ever told me that grief felt so like fear. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. The homemaker has the ultimate career. All other careers exist for one purpose only, and that is to support the ultimate career. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny. Isn't it funny how day by day nothing changes, but when you look back, everything is different? What you see and what you hear depends a great deal on where you are standing. It also depends on what sort of person you are. Affection is responsible for 9/10 of whatever solid and durable happiness there is in our lives. The task of the modern educator is not to cut down jungles, but to irrigate deserts. Relying on God has to begin all over again every day, as if nothing had yet been done. Joy is the serious business of heaven. I believe in Christianity, as I believe that the sun has risen not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else. Faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. It is when we notice the dirt that God is most present in us. It is the very sign of His presence. God allows us to experience the low points of life in order to teach us lessons that we could learn in no other way. There are no ordinary people. We meet no ordinary people in our lives. It is not your business to succeed, but to do right when you have done so. The rest lies with God. You play the hand you're dealt. I think the game's worthwhile. The future is something which everyone reaches at the rate of 60 minutes an hour, whatever he does, whoever he is. God has infinite attention to spare for each one of us. Don't use words too big for the subject. Don't say infinitely when you mean very, otherwise you'll have no word left when you want to talk about something really infinite. In reading great literature, I become 1,000 men and yet remain myself. You cannot go on indefinitely being just an ordinary decent egg. You must be hatched or go bad. The sun looks down on nothing half so good as a household laughing together over a meal. A young man who wishes to remain a sound atheist cannot be too careful of his reading. If you love deeply, you're going to get hurt badly, but it's still worth it. The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Faith is the art of holding on to things your reason has once accepted, in spite of your changing moods. What you see depends entirely on what you look for. Reality is harsh to the feet of shadows, but will not blame us for stumbling. To be a Christian means to forgive the inexcusable because God has forgiven the inexcusable in you. Of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. The very man who has argued you down will sometimes be found years later to have been influenced by what you said.